If you do not believe that you can heal, you won't. In 2011, I started my training to become an Shire monk. I didn't know that that's what I was going to start doing, by the way. There's a whole other video on this. But I started working with some incredible humans all around the world. And part of this journey was with a lady called Parashanti, who had cancer. And she'd had cancer for quite a number of years. Her husband was a doctor and a homeopath, so she'd kind of gone down a bit of a Western stroke alternative route. But she was the most conscious woman that I'd ever met in my whole entire life. And when you spoke to her, it was like there was this aura and old, almost light coming out of every part of her body that would cocoon you and make you feel safe, secure, aligned and powerful. And I got speaking to her one day about her cancer, and she told me that the doctors had told her that they can let her know how long they estimate for her to live. And her answer was, absolutely not. I was intrigued by this answer, and I couldn't help myself. I had to ask, why did you not ask them to tell you like how long you've got left to live? I mean, maybe then you can prepare yourself, or I don't know, maybe you'll book that holiday. I was like, this is so interesting. How come you wouldn't ask for that information? She said, because I know the power of the mind. She said, your beliefs are so powerful that they dictate your thoughts, your emotions, your decisions, your habits, your entire reality. It's like, oh, holy moly. I think we all need a memo on this. But I was intrigued and I asked more. So I said, so did you not ask because you believed if you knew, then your subconscious mind might then, I don't know, have a deadline or something? She said, exactly. She said, look, your nervous system doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's not real. In other words, it doesn't know the difference between what you're experiencing and what you're thinking about experiencing. I was like, oh my God. This is very tricky. Everyone needs to know this stuff. It immediately made me think, why is this not taught in schools? Whole other video, I reckon. And she then went on to say, look, your beliefs about your reality are literally as true to your primitive nervous system as they are to your external reality. I was like, oh, holy moly. Are you saying then that you didn't want to know how long they thought you may live because even though you weren't going to buy into it, your unconscious mind may download it and just start acting on it? She said, bingo. She said, look, listen, if you have a belief embedded in your unconscious mind that believes that this is the end date, your mind is so powerful, it will work to that. And okay, so this is extreme because we're talking about death, but this can be used in all sorts of things in life. So it might just be you believe that your anxiety will lead to you having a panic attack every time you leave the house. This is because your nervous system will switch into survival mode because it believes that your worst fears are actually happening. I was like, oh my God. So you mean so your nervous system believes that this is the end date for you, and so therefore it triggers your nervous system into that fear of death. She said, yeah. And the weird thing about it is, she said, I'm not even scared of dying. However, I do want to be here as long as possible to enjoy life with my family and friends. So another example of this would be if you believe that the sensations in your body mean you won't heal a chronic illness, then your nervous system will prevent healing from literally happening. That's how powerful this is. So I said, do you believe then that you can heal from cancer, or what do you believe? And she said, I believe that I can live a very healthy life whilst with or without cancer. I'm not attached to that. I was like, oh, you just blow me away. She said, I'm definitely not going to program my nervous system to believe something worse than what it is. Look, check this out. Imagine, or if you've ever had any pain in your body, think of a time. I said, okay, I can think of a time where I fell and my knee was cut and it was really throbbing, and yeah, there was a lot of pain. Which is right, okay. Did your pain, A, get better or worse by focusing on it? I was like, oh, well, I guess when you focus on something, yeah, it gets a lot worse. But yeah, exactly. You should look at when people get anxious. When people start to focus on their anxiety, it spirals out of control and often can turn into a panic attack. She said, this is because you are giving instruction for your body to feel more sick. That's simply by directing your attention to what is unwanted. Where attention goes, energy flows. And she said, Look how the placebo effect works. It's a perfect example of how beliefs literally change your physiology. And the true explanation of the placebo effect is that our beliefs literally control our reality. The opposite is also true. She said when you change your beliefs to focus solely on healing, your nervous system kicks in as it thinks that this is actually happening, and therefore the physiology flows. In 2021, I had a near-death experience. When I came back out of my coma, I had scarring and water on the lungs from the CPR. I spent 6 days after this event literally meditating and imagining a white golden light going through my body and healing. On day 10, after the event had happened, I went for an X-ray. And when I got into the room, the radiologist literally called all his people to come and have a look at my results. If you want to know more about this, there is a video on my profile. He could not explain how 80% of the healing had said, I did that. He said, how did you do it? I said, I did it through the power of the mind. I imagined white golden healing light healing all the cells of my body. He just turned around to me and said, I mean, it doesn't make sense on paper, but whatever you're doing, just keep on doing it. And I knew it was the power of the mind. Do not underestimate your healing powers. By the way, the monk, she went on to live an extra 11 years past the date that they said that she should have passed away. Just saying.